Shocking facts about the Challenger Deep, the deepest place on Earth. If you were to take the highest point on land and submerge it into the ocean, you'd still be nearly 2 kilometers away from reaching the deepest part of the ocean. Humans have ventured into the ocean's greatest depth only twice in history. In 1960, oceanographer Jacques Piccard and Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh descended into the Challenger Deep, reaching a depth of 10,918 meters, mistakenly noted as 7,918 m in some sources. Are you curious about what secrets lie in the deepest place on Earth? Let's join Knowledge Corner as we revisit the mysteries of this abyss that scientists are still trying to decode. Unknown facts about the Challenger Deep. For decades, that depth record remained unbroken until explorer Victor Vescovo made 3 dives into the Challenger Deep in 2019, with his deepest descent recorded at 10,923 meters. Scientists have deployed numerous unmanned submarines to explore the trench. Among them, the Keiko vessel collected over 350 samples from the ocean floor between 1995 and 2003. Experts believe that thousands of unknown species still remain hidden. 99% of Earth's living space exists beneath the ocean's surface. Imagine this: the average human height is roughly 1/1000th the length of a blue whale, the largest animal ever known. Blue whales usually hunt at depths of around 100 meters, an area still penetrated by sunlight. At 213 meters, the USS Triton submarine was the first to complete a submerged circumnavigation of the globe in 1960. The record for deepest free dive, 253 meters, belongs to Herbert Nitsch, an Austrian diver. At this depth, the pressure is 26 times greater than on the surface and could crush human lungs. Still, blue whales can dive past 100 meters to hunt for giant squid. One diver, Sish, suffered a severe case of decompression sickness, leading to brain stroke-like symptoms. Yet he managed to return to the surface, recover in a hyperbaric chamber, and survive to tell the tale. Depth milestones. At 731 meters, we reach a dangerous zone for modern nuclear submarines. Any deeper, and they would be crushed by pressure. At 830 meters, the ocean would submerge the tallest buildings on Earth, including Burj Khalifa in Dubai. At 999 meters, sunlight can no longer penetrate. This is the beginning of the midnight zone. Many species at this depth are blind, such as the eyeless shrimp living around 2,238 meters, near underwater volcanoes. Temperatures here are typically only a few degrees Celsius, but around hydrothermal vents, waters can reach up to 426 degrees Celsius. At 2,992 meters, we encounter the deepest diving marine mammal ever recorded, the Cuvier's beaked whale. But even these whales cannot reach the wreck of the Titanic, which lies at a staggering 3,810 meters, where pressure is 378 times that at sea level. Still, life persists at this depth. Creatures like the fangtooth fish and deep-sea octopuses have been found here. Into the abyss. At 6,096 meters, we enter the dark open ocean, home to some of Earth's deepest trenches, like the Mariana Trench in the Northwest Pacific. If you dropped Mount Everest into it, its peak would sit below the surface at 8,848 meters. Humans have only explored 5 to 10% of the world's oceans. We're only beginning to scratch the surface of the dark, mysterious world flowing beneath us. The Challenger Deep lies within the hadopelagic zone. Like the atmosphere, the ocean is divided into layers. The uppermost is the epipelagic or sunlight zone, extending to 200 meters. Next comes the mesopelagic or twilight zone, down to 1,000 meters. Below that is the bathopelagic, midnight zone, and abyssopelagic, abyss zone, ranging from 4,000 to 6,000 meters. In these abyssal depths, very few life forms can survive. There's no light, and the water is extremely cold. Yet, the Challenger Deep, at nearly 11,000 meters, lies even deeper, within the hadopelagic zone, named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. This zone, with its strange mud volcanoes and rare aquatic life, is one of Earth's least explored environments. At such depths, where sunlight never reaches, scientists once believed nothing could live. But they were wrong. Life at the bottom. In 2005, microscopic single-celled organisms called foraminifera, a type of plankton, were discovered in the Challenger Deep. Scientists also uncovered colorful rocky outcrops, sea cucumbers, mud volcanoes, and hydrothermal vents in the Mariana Trench. Despite the acidic, boiling water expelled by these vents, many bizarre species and microbes thrive. Without sunlight, these organisms depend on the nutrient-rich chemicals released from vents. As you go deeper into the ocean, pressure increases. Everything submerged is affected. Pressure rises by 1 atmosphere, ATM, every 10 meters, meaning every square meter experiences an extra kilogram of force. The human body contains air-filled spaces, like lungs, middle ears, and sinus cavities, all vulnerable under extreme pressure. They are the most pressure-sensitive and vulnerable parts. The pressure primarily affects the eardrums, causing extreme pain due to the imbalance in pressure. Even if we plug our ears when diving to avoid pressure impact, going down just 3 meters already feels uncomfortable because the eardrums can't adapt to the pressure changes at that depth, and the adjustment mechanism doesn't work. The pressure at the deepest point of the ocean reaches 11.31 tons/m superscript 2, equivalent to the weight of 50 jet planes pressing down on a person. The deepest part of the ocean is identified as the Mariana Trench, located in the western Pacific Ocean, east of the Mariana Islands. It is about 2,550 kilometers long and 69 kilometers wide. The maximum measured depth is approximately 10.97 kilometers at a small fissure in the southern part, known as the Challenger Deep, named after the first survey ship in 1951. Another explorer who descended to the Challenger Deep is Victor Vescovo, a Texas investor. He reached a depth of 10,927 meters and set a world record in 2019. Vescovo brought back sad news about human impact reaching even the most remote and seemingly unreachable places. He reported seeing a plastic bag in candy wrappers at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The exact depth of the trench is still unknown. One of the most fascinating and captivating places beneath the ocean is the Mariana Trench, a fissure in the western Pacific that stretches more than 1,580 miles, about 2,540 kilometers, and contains the Challenger Deep, the deepest known point on Earth's surface at about 11,000 meters below sea level. The ocean floor remains one of the most mysterious places for humans. In fact, maps of the Moon and Mars are far more detailed than maps of Earth's seabed. Although humans have explored the ocean surface for tens of thousands of years, only about 20% of the ocean floor has been mapped, according to 2022 data from NOAA. However, due to high interest in the Mariana Trench, researchers have made efforts to create increasingly detailed images of its features. But this is no easy task due to the vast and deep nature of the ocean floor. Scientists must rely on sonar and sound technologies to try to produce a complete picture of what lies beneath. Thanks to improved measuring equipment and advancing technology, the most recent estimated depth of the Challenger Deep was updated in 2021 to approximately 10,935 meters. The director of Titanic once explored the Challenger Deep. James Cameron, director of Titanic, is one of the few who have visited the Challenger Deep. In fact, very few people have ever ventured there. The first expedition occurred in 1960 with the historic journey of the Trieste submersible. During this mission, passengers Jacques Picard and Don Walsh were amazed to see creatures living in a place scientists once believed to be lifeless. James Cameron, director of the 1997 film Titanic, was the next deep-sea explorer to visit the ocean's deepest point. He secretly worked with a team of engineers to build the Deep-Sea Challenger, a vessel over 7 meters long and weighing 11 tons, which descended to a depth of 10.98 meters and set a world record in 2012. Besides the Challenger Deep, other deep-sea areas have also been discovered: the Tonga Trench in the Pacific Ocean, the deepest trench in the southern hemisphere and the second deepest on Earth with a maximum depth of about 10,882 meters, named after the research ship Horizon from Scripps Institution of Oceanography. The crew discovered this depth in December 1952. The Philippine Trench in the Pacific Ocean is an underwater trench east of the Philippines, ranking third among the deepest oceans in the world. The trench lies in the Philippine Sea, northwest of the Pacific, nearly 1,320 kilometers long and about 30 kilometers wide. At its deepest point, it reaches 10,540 meters. The Philippine Trench is believed to be 8 to 9 million years old and was first explored in 1927 by the German ship Emden. The Aizu Ogasawara Trench in the Pacific, also called the Aizu Bonin Trench, is located in the western Pacific, comprising the Aizu and Bonin Trenches. It stretches from Japan to the northern end of the Mariana Trench. The deepest point is around 9,780 meters. The Puerto Rico Trench in the Atlantic Ocean lies on the boundary between the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic. It is 800 kilometers long and has a maximum depth of 8,376 meters. Not only is it one of the deepest seas in the world, Puerto Rico also has the deepest trench in the Atlantic called Milwaukee Deep, also known as Brownson Deep, located at the western end of the trench. It was first explored by French explorer Argo Metter in 1964. The South Sandwich Trench in the Atlantic is one of the deepest arc-shaped trenches in the South Atlantic, located 100 kilometers east of the South Sandwich Islands. It is the deepest trench in the South Atlantic and the second deepest in the Atlantic overall, after the Puerto Rico Trench. Its deepest point, Meteor Deep, reaches a depth of 8,202 meters. Although increasing water pressure at deeper depths makes it difficult for humans to reach, not everyone can go that deep. The man holding the record for the deepest dive is Victor Vescovo, a retired Navy officer, diver, and American deep-sea explorer who made history by holding the world record for deepest sea exploration after diving into the Mariana Trench at a depth of 10,927 meters using a specially designed submersible in 2019 to explore the world's deepest ocean floor. He and his team completed 5 dives into the Mariana Trench to gather valuable research data. To this day, he still holds the world record for deepest sea dive and piloted submersible descent. If you found this video helpful,